Welcome indoor cycling fans for something brand new on the channel. As you can see on the screen, VELOTON Beta. I'm really excited to test this out. First of all, I would like to thank TEAM and Niels from VELOTON for granting me access to this platform. And right now on your screen you can see the team selection menu. I'm going for Team Sky, which is still named Team C in this version. Hopefully they can get all the licenses for this. That would be great. And I'm going to do a 21 stage Grand Tour, it's called on VELOTON, but I like to call it Tour de France. Now we'll be riding it in the Cat C. I'll explain it later on, what that means. And the first stage is 36.6 kilometers with 310 altitude meters. The stage is called Privas. Like I said, I'm really excited to test this out because actually I like Pro Cycling Manager and the Tour de France games as well. I'm also reviewing those games, so I really got a connection with this. I really want to see how this plays out when I'm on the bike myself. So maybe a small explanation on the categories. For those familiar with Zwift, it's more or less the same categories with the same limitations, but I have the feeling it plays out a little bit different here because like you see, there's already an attack and I try to stay in the peloton. The races really turn out differently. My tactic for this first stage was to be part of the peloton and maybe attack on that last category 4 climb there. I have to wait and see if that's possible. Right now you can see I have a keyboard on my bike. I was trying to change camera views, but changing camera views I wasn't able to do it at that moment, although I had it working earlier on, so maybe it's still under construction, or I don't know. The times it worked out wasn't in this Grand Tour, so maybe that's the reason. I hope to get it working in the upcoming stages.
Allez les gars, courage! Allez les gars! Allez les gars! Les voilà! Allez les gars, on continue comme ça! Courage! Lâchez rien! Courage!
Actually, right now I'm stuck behind a few riders. And I'm doing more or less 200 watts, and that's not that smart because I could have done maybe 120 and still be in this group, even remaining the same position in this group. As you can see as well, the riders have more or less correct names. Scherel, Postelberger, Port, Yates, and that's really Valverde here. It's really nice to, well, you get the feeling to be a part of a real peloton. So at the moment, the only, let's call it playable version in this beta is the single player. So So you can do these 21 stages in your own tempo, your own difficulty, and I think that's really, really good. Like I said, I chose Team Sky as my team, but you will notice that all the jerseys of the teams are incorrect at the moment. Like I said, it would be so great if they can fix it. They can get all licenses. I really hope all the cycling teams will grant VELOTON a license. And I won't be comparing it with other platforms like Zwift or RGT, because I think VELOTON is something on its own. Of course, it's still indoor cycling, so in a way you can compare it. And I will talk about how it feels compared to those platforms maybe, but like I said, you can see it from the start. Tactics, it's totally different. For example, Zwift races are extremely fast already from the first 100 meters, and here you can sit back in the peloton. And at this moment I was still getting used to it.
Continue. Bravo les gars.
So maybe now that the peloton is really doing slow, I will take you to some things you see on your screen. The UI, for example. On the left, there's 3 white boxes. You have the heart rate, RPM. I'm not wearing a heart rate monitor at the moment. I mean, it doesn't make that much sense when I'm doing this game. RPM working great. And right underneath that RPM box, there's this small icon of a shield with a flag. Now displaying 70%. And that's the draft. So at the moment, drafting helps me more or less for 50%. While I get closer to other riders, I get more draft. Now I'm in the front and you can see 0% draft. So in the middle on top you have the speed. Next to it, it's the amount of watts I'm doing right now. Next to it, the incline. And now we're going slightly downhill. And on the right hand side, and I think that's really good, is the stage profile. It's clear, it's almost the same as in the game. I mean the console gaming. And underneath the stage profile, and this is a bit, how should I say, distracting at the moment, because on the left hand side of the screen you have 2 boxes right now with the first group and the peloton. And you can see that the time difference between the two is 3 minutes and 57 seconds. You can also see that the But there are 171 riders in the peloton. But on the right hand side of your screen, you can see that the actual time difference is only 47 seconds between the first group and the peloton. And the reason for this is that the stages are scaled 1 to 5. So this stage, for example, is almost 37 kilometers. So in real life it would be more or less 150, 160 kilometers. And this has a few consequences in the game. For example, as you will see later on, sprints. A normal sprint starts at 300, 250 meters before the line. But sprints on Veloton start at about 1 kilometer. But in fact you're only doing 200 meters, 300 meters for that sprint. But you have to keep it in mind. And at the moment the peloton is still doing quite slow. Also on the left hand side of your screen there's this small gearing box. But you won't see it changing whenever I switch gears because it only works right now with the Vertigo bike. Veloton is working closely with Vertigo. You can also see it on my Tax Neo bike. So for me it's not that much of a problem. At this moment I'm still getting used to finding my positions in the peloton. On the road you also see the ideal racing line, and it's possible to steer in this in Veloton. The way to do it right now is with the arrow keys on your keyboard. I still think it needs improvement. And to be honest, also in Zwift I'm not really... The way it works right now, I'm not that fond of steering. I think it would be better if your rider would decide where he should be placed or where he should go. So for example, when you put in some strong watts, that he finds a small gap to go through. Now 7.3 kilometers into this first stage. The peloton is 57 seconds behind on the first group. In the PlayStation game you can also click on those group and peloton boxes and you can see who's in that group. But at the moment it's not possible in Veloton. I also think it would be a little less distracting if they can adjust the time difference between all the different groups also on the left side. At this moment I was still really trying to get the hang of it. I was not quite sure what was going to happen.
Allez les gars, allez, go, go, go. Allez, on y va.
I had a few shorter rides before this one, just to get used to it, but because it's a new platform and because it has its own unique style, I think you really need a few stages to really get used to it. Also get used to the tactical side.
Les voilà. Continue comme ça. Allez. Allez, on y va, on y va, on y va.
I think I could have gone away here. I could have gone for the escape, but I didn't. The reason why I chose not to was I really wanted to save energy because I was afraid that I would need it at the end of the stage.
Allez les gars, on continue comme ça.
Les voilà.
Allez les gars.
In Zwift I'm Cat B rider with an average power of 3.7 watts per kilo. I'm weighing 56, 57 kilos. But over here I really made the decision to go for the Cat C difficulty because the few rides I had earlier were actually really hard in Cat C. Especially when a few riders decided to attack, it was pretty hard. When you compare it, for example, right now with other platforms, you would think this is going really slow. Is it any fun? Well, in fact it is, because you really have the feeling that you're in a peloton. You just you're not really trying to catch up on the first group, you just let them go. Exactly how it happens in real life.
Allez les gars, on continue comme ça. Ouais, on continue. Continuez comme ça.
It's actually a really nice feeling. Also this on my left hand side, now he's out of the picture, but you really have the feeling that that you're surrounded by teammates. You can also give them a few orders. For example, you can make them relay or order them to attack or to protect you. So we have Groenewegen, Viviane here, Markov. Teammate Bernal was there, Fulsang here, Bardet. That's really the attraction of this one. Peloton was increasing the pace a little. And now on the downhill section. The way the peloton is going, you can really give your legs a rest on those downhill sections. Here I was pushing. I wanted to make the peloton chase the first group even harder, but as you can see, in a few instances I was already 12 seconds in front of the peloton, so I decided not to do it. Because if you consider the stage profile, I was quite sure that the peloton would catch up with the first group. So attacking right now wouldn't make much sense. But I was still hoping that they would try to catch me a bit faster. As you can see, I'm 39 seconds behind on the first group. My watts show I'm not really doing anything at the moment. Just waiting for the peloton to reel me in. So curious to see how I will do on these 21 stages. Especially because after a few rides, someone will have the yellow jersey, mountain jersey, green jersey. Someone of my team will have the yellow jersey. Maybe then I have to protect him. So that's the really the tactical part of VELOTON. Excited to see how that will turn out.
Allez!
So at the moment the team behind VELOTON are really helping us out as beta testers. If we have a problem, we try to come up with a solution. For example, I was the first day when I had VELOTON installed on my PC, I wasn't able to pair my attacks with the game.
Courage, on continue!
CEO of the company actually mailed me the solution, so that's really, really great. So in my turn, I hope I can provide them with a few things of my own, a few ideas maybe.
Allez, allez. Plus vite. Allez, vas-y, continue, continue. Allez, allez, allez.
Like the stats show, we're still 49 seconds behind on the first group, so the peloton is still doing nothing. Because my rider sometimes has some difficulties to go for a gap. I was afraid to be in the back of the peloton. So now I'm trying to move up. Downhill section. The pace always drops a little when the other riders reach a small incline. Once they go downhill, they go a little bit faster.
Continuez comme ça, les gars. On est
Allez
avec
les gars,
vous.
continue
I
là,
really
plus
hope I
vite,
can
plus vite.
get used to it even more, because at this moment it was still a bit searching for the right amount of watts, searching for when I have to push a little harder. So now I'm a little closed in, as you can see, and I'm doing 200 watts and I'm not really moving. I can imagine that's how being in a real peloton feels like. Now found a small gap on the left hand side of the road. So when that happens, it makes no sense to push twice as hard, because you will still be closed in no matter what.
Continuez comme ça.
Lâchez rien.
Allez, les gars, courage.
So if you like this new content on the channel, it would be great to give us a thumbs up, maybe subscribe to the channel as well.
Continuez comme
Allez les gars,
ça.
courage.
We'll be having more on VELOTON in the upcoming days and weeks. I will definitely wait to give my final conclusion for now on this beta when the 21 stages are over. Because for now I'm getting used to it. So if you have any questions or comments on this, leave them in the comment section and I will try to answer them. So I've done these stages a few times on my PlayStation, and now doing them on a bike and not sitting on a couch is different, but it makes even more fun.
Allez les gars! Allez les gars!
Trying the camera views once again, but to no avail, as you can see.
Allez les gars! On continue comme ça! Allez, allez les gars! Lâchez rien les gars! Allez!
So at the moment, VELOTON handed out more or less 1,000 invitations
Lâchez rien, allez.
for this
Allez les gars,
beta.
courage.
But if I'm not mistaken, you can still apply for it. At the moment, it only works on a Windows platform.
Allez, bravo les gars!
Continuez comme ça, allez.
Lâchez rien! Allez!
It's still
Continuez comme ça, les
working
gars. Allez.
Continuez comme ça les gars!
to get all the, or at least as much smart trainers as possible to get it working on the platform. This is something, the feeling when you go on a small hill or a mountain is really good. You can really feel the incline kicking in. I think it feels even
Comme ça! Allez les gars, courage!
Allez les gars,
Mais
on
voilà.
continue là, plus vite.
a little bit better than on other platforms. Maybe it's also because how the other riders react. And that was really great about this first race. The entire race I was thinking about strategy, holding my position, looking out for a possible breakaway or attack in the peloton.
Allez les gars, courage! Continuez comme ça! Allez!
Allez les gars, on continue comme ça. Allez, allez, allez.
Now 40 seconds behind on the first group. I'm in a 24th position right now. We're 32 minutes, almost 33 minutes into this race. And we're back in front. Now approaching the first sprint of the day. 5 kilometers left to go. So scale 1 to 5, so actually 1 kilometer left to go. And as you can see, some of the sprinter teams
Allez les gars, courage!
are moving up. Because it's not, the teams don't have their original jerseys, it's still getting used to who's who. Moving up. 1 kilometer left to go. And the sprint starts. Actually doing really good. Viviani here on my left-hand side. Can I beat him? Yes, I can. I think right on the line. Normally I expected a small box like you could have seen earlier when the first group reached this sprint finish, or at least the intermediate sprint, I should say. So I expected a small box on the right hand side of the screen, but it didn't show up. But I think I'm in 6th position, or I ended up in 6th place in the first intermediate sprint.
Allez, on lâche rien.
Allez, on lâche
À vous les gars.
Now you could see that my rider is eating something. I'm not quite sure what it does in the game at this moment. Make sure I'll answer it if I know the answer myself. You guys will be the first to know.
Continuez comme ça.
Allez les gars, courage.
Allez les gars, on continue là. Plus
Now
vite,
after
plus vite.
the intermediate sprint,
Allez les gars,
what will
courage.
Peloton do?
Continuez comme ça.
On
Allez.
continue
29
comme ça, les
seconds
gars.
behind on the
Courage.
first group.
Allez les gars. Bravo les gars. Bravo les gars. Continuez comme ça. Allez.
C'est bien. Allez les gars,
Bravo
courage.
les gars.
Allez les gars, on continue comme ça.
Allez les gars, allez, go, go, go. Allez, on y va.
Courage, on
Allez,
continue,
courage
on
les gars, allez plus
continue.
vite.
And although I wasn't doing as much watts or efforts like I do on Zwift,
Allez les gars, on continue comme
in
ça.
a way it's
Bravo,
pretty
les gars, c'est
strange
bien.
to explain,
Allez
but
les
I
gars,
was
courage.
Allez les gars.
getting a bit tired maybe, I don't know. I think it was because of getting used to it, not really knowing what to expect. You also see that my rider tries to follow that ideal line. Once again, I was being closed
Allez
in.
les gars, on continue comme ça.
Try to move up to the front once again. At this moment, I could really feel the tension rising in the peloton. I also had the feeling I was still doing too much watts than actually needed. Once you have a downhill section of more than minus 5%. I will go into an aero position. So 13 kilometers left to go. As you can see on the stage profile, the first climb of the day is coming. Third category. There was a moment during the race where I was planning to go for an attack on that climb. Let's wait and see if I can pull it off. I was still so unsure if I would attack here, for instance, how the peloton would react. Instead of trying, I just didn't.
Allez les gars!
I was also curious to see if on sprints and climbs, if you would see the expected riders there. So for example, like in the first sprint, Viviani was also sprinting, and that was as expected. I think Groenewegen was right behind me. So I'm quite curious to see if some mountain specialist would show up on this first climb. Although we couldn't get any more points because the first group is still out in front. And still 5 people, or at least 5 riders in that group. They're now 5 kilometers or 4.4 kilometers. From the top of the first climb. And here we are, 5 kilometers left to go. Like I said, 1 kilometer in real life. Well positioned. I'm still afraid to attack because I was afraid if I went for the attack that the whole peloton would start to ride really, really hard. At this moment I was thinking, let's just see and wait what will happen on this first climb. Maybe I can go for an attack on the category 4 climb. Now you can see on the right hand side of the screen, get a new profile, and it's the profile of the mountain. And the colors you see, for now we're on the blue section. Medium, intermediate difficulty. Orange is a bit harder, and of course red and black is really, really hard. And green should be easy. And now on approaching the orange section, incline of 6.4%. Almost 1 kilometer from the top. You can see it. I'm trying to push. Okay, that went well. Call it a small study moment for the next and last climb of the day. Once again, waiting for the peloton. Still 31 seconds behind on the first group. But in game it would mean that we're 2 minutes 37 behind. Although that doesn't count on the final ranking.
Allez, 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 allez. On continue les gars, on continue.
So the time differences on the right hand side of the screen are the only ones important on VELOTON. Now, push it seems. No, okay. Once again, slowing down a bit after a downhill section.
Bravo les gars! Continuez comme ça! Allez les gars! Allez les gars!
I really hope that
Allez les gars, courage!
Allez les gars, courage.
you decide not to use the steering option on VELOTON, that the AI would make a few maybe smarter decisions on where to position themselves. Or maybe it's just me, I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm gonna wait to offer you my final conclusion at the end of these 21 stages. Moving up the front once again on the right hand side of the road. So that's what you really have to do. Once there's a gap, you just have to go for it. Because if you don't, some riders will come up and earn their spot in the peloton and close you
Allez les
in.
gars, courage! Les voilà!
Three teammates, Thomas, Bernal, and I think it's still Pools. So Van Baarle there.
Allez, courage les gars.
And this is the moment where I felt that it was going to be hard to get back in front of the peloton. They were also increasing
Continuez comme ça! Allez les gars!
pace.
C'est bien. Allez les gars. Allez les gars. Allez les gars, cours.
At this point, I really felt really good about the approach VELOTON has. And you can really decide which tactic you're going to use. On other platforms, it's just most of the time racing as hard as you can. And the fact that it's a single player also adds to the tension in a way. And right here I was still thinking about attacking on that last climb. I was wondering if I could still be at the front at the end of this race, going for a sprint, something like that. On the other hand, I was afraid to get closed in this peloton. Believe it or not, but I was maybe more tired after this stage. Like when you compare it to Zwift, for example. I still don't know why, but that's how I felt. And at this moment I was really falling behind. As you can see, the peloton really pushing now. 13 seconds behind on the second group. The 3 riders, and 15 seconds behind in the first group with 2 riders. You can also see that there's some headwind.
Bravo les gars.
As you can see, I was not able to get back into the front once again. Maybe now there's a small gap on the right hand side.
Allez les gars, courage.
Continuez comme ça.
It's strange, but I don't have any power left. Like I said, on Zwift, for example, I can hold or I can average in a 1 hour race 3.7 watts per kilo. If you follow this race, you know it's far less. I think one of the reasons is how being in the peloton plays out. I'm really at the back of the peloton right now. 160 position. And now I'm even getting dropped by the peloton. You can also see that some riders are struggling. Now in front of me, on the wheel of Terramay, Grijpel, Geske to the left, Woods. I hope for the upcoming stages I can remember at least a few teams or a few riders. But as it stands now, I don't think I'm going for the yellow jersey. It's already 18 seconds behind on the peloton, 24 seconds behind on the first group, which is still not riddled in, which I think is a bit surprising.
Allez les gars, continuez comme ça.
Continue.
Here I wanted to
Continuez comme ça.
really attack, but as you could see, I was behind on a few riders. It's doesn't make any sense. The rider has to go into a gap, otherwise you can push as hard as you want. And that's what I mean. I really hope if you're not steering in the game that the AI would choose a different side of the road or try to create a gap some way or another.
Allez les gars, courage!
The top of the last climb of the day. Moment in 155th position, really bad. I also felt really bad. I was wondering why I still couldn't do more watts than I know I can do. I blame it all on, I think, doing a little bit too much while I was in the peloton. Should have done less, and also when the peloton attacks, it's really full on. And 2 kilometers left to go. Can I catch this group in front of me?
Allez, plus vite!
If you take a look to the right hand side, I doubt it. And although I don't look like it, because I look sweaty and tired, I really enjoyed this stage. Once again, trying to get in front, catch the group up ahead. 1.5 kilometers left to go. The riders in front now wobbling on their bikes, having a hard time as well. Zakarin, Cheryl and Arendt, I think it is. Here you can see it. I was really trying, but the group in front of me is too big. They just race off. Bye bye for now. Here you can see the scaling. 1 kilometer left to go. In game it's 5 kilometers left to go. Also a good example, I was doing too much while I had no space in front of me. was the difficult part, I think. We were doing not enough watts, and the group was attacking. It's impossible or really hard to catch them. For example, right now, I wish my rider would dive into a gap. Last 400 meters. And there they go. At a moment where I thought just ease off and try to push here, for example, but the group in front of me was already gone. So a pretty bad result, but an enjoyable stage. Like I said, I have a lot to get used to, which I hope I will in the upcoming stages. But I could really feel the way VELOTON is trying to go with this one. And I think we as cyclists, cycling fanatics, indoor cyclists, we should all applaud them for trying this approach. So I'm 1 minute and 6 seconds behind on Christophe, who won the stage. Second was Viviani, third Groenewegen. I got 9 points for the green jersey. So maybe that's something I can try to go for the green jersey or the mountain jersey. Or the polka dot jersey, I should say. In the team classification, at least we're second. So this is how the classification screen looks like. And now we have a look on the next stage. The second stage is in London, and as you can see, it's flat. I really hope you liked it, guys. Hope to see you once again for stage 2. And once again, thanks Niels and Tan for inviting me.